Hey guys, it's been a while. I'm here at Love's getting my truck worked on. So I want to do a test run with the new X3 because I had to get a new X3. And it's because well, it's a long story. Let's start from the beginning. All right, so day 189, which you'll never see because I forgot to charge the batteries on my X4. And then I went up to Mount Hood, went riding around up by Double D and all that stuff, and talked, and when I went to go stop and restart, to cut it up into sections, it was off. And when I turned it back on, it said low battery, and it turned back off. So I was like, oh shit, I forgot to charge it. So that's what happened to day 189. Then on day 196, I was at Swan Bike Park in Tacoma, Washington, and I went riding around on this bike track, which was hard ground, but it was all these little loose rock pebbles on top of it. So I wiped out. And because of what happened to my first X3, I didn't want to ride around with the camera until I, know what I'm riding and what the terrain is and all that good stuff. So, but I was going to be riding around with a backpack 6 miles out to this park and then all over the place out there. And I didn't want anything to happen to my camera, my X4. So I found this headset bag for my my truck driving headset. It's a big round kind of pouch that's hard, and I put the camera in there with some extra premium lenses and chargers and lens cleaners and and a case, and then put it in my bag. And I went out riding, and I did the very first log stack, where they stack the little logs onto a big log and then you go off of it. That was awesome fun, by the way. But then on the other side there was a berm with loose rock, and I wiped out and my unicycle went flying over the berm out into the bushes, and I just hit the ground and freaking busted out hard. And when I went to go get my unicycle, I noticed the hinge on my front part of the seat was broke, and the seat was off, and the hinge part was still stuck to the unicycle, and the back seat came off like I designed it to do. I was like, oh great, I just broke my $300 seat. So I stuck it in my backpack, tried to find all the pieces I could, and I was like, okay, we'll pull that back out later and see if I can fix it. And then I put the case with the X4 on top of the seats. And I forgot to latch my bag shut. Went out riding, hit some more jumps, came down onto some loose rock, crashed. I also did a cut through and I crashed. And on top of all that, I went to Safeway and back, and over to a friend's house, and back out to the bike track, and I found this part that had barely any loose rock. Really good jumps, pump track dirt, nice and pristine. Everything was beautiful. I was like, oh dude, I got to pull the camera out and videotape this. This is it. I'm safe here. I could do this for 15 minutes of footage and then post that. But unfortunately, when I pulled my bag off, the flap was up. And I was like, wait, what? And I looked through my bag. I tore everything out. It was obvious it wasn't in there. But I still was like, oh my gosh. So I went literally everywhere. I went for 3.5 hours. I'm looking everywhere for my X4. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And it was so disappointing. I think it keeps going. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. It's getting real windy out here. But I know that this thing passes good wind tests. I've done some really good wind tests along Columbia River, and it did awesome. Anyways, back to the story. Now I have no X3 because the lens got all scratched up on both sides, broke the protective lenses and scratched the lenses when I did the speed wobble crash. And now I can't find my X4. So it's gone. I'm screwed. So I couldn't do any video footage. I was pretty depressed. I also did another ride, but you know, it was like 196. It was North Bend, Washington. Really cool bike track, but it was not the, you know, big jumps or anything. But what made it really cool was the people. And I had a great time there, hanging out with all these parents and their kids, and the kids had fun riding with me and checking out my unicycle. Everybody was totally amazed. They loved it. I actually got 2 more subscribers. Thank you guys from that day. Anyways, couldn't footage that which would have been a great video too, but because I didn't have a camera. Now, Asurion with Amazon, I've had them with Verizon, so I got them with Amazon, do not cover lost or stolen. But they did cover my X3. So I sent that in and they gave me a new one. That's what I'm using now, is another X3. Now, they did give me a card, so I could have gotten an X4. But honestly, with what I do, I don't really see the point of having an X4. It's too big, it's bulky, it hurts my wrists. You know, it's constantly pulling down on me. It's got a bit longer battery life, but I have an X3 with extra batteries and a case. And so I was like, you know, I don't use the 8K. And when I did, because of the download and the export, by the time I got to YouTube, it looked just like the 5.7. So I was like, well, I don't see the point of having this bigger device. I got it because the premium lens, you know, attaches on and off. But the problem with that premium lens is it ain't tough as they say it is. I hit the ground and did a roll, and it just, I mean, yeah, it bent the stick. I hit it pretty good, I will admit. I hit it pretty good. And that sucked. But it just shattered the lens, just bam. Didn't scratch the camera, so that was a good thing. But totally broke the lens. So I was like, well, that broke just as easy as the X3 lens covers. And X3 came out with a new attaching round piece that you could screw the lens on and off and take it off and clean, which was another thing I had a problem with the X4. The thing attracted dirt like no other and dust, and I always was cleaning it and I still had looked like little orbs flying around me, especially when the sun hit it. So with the weight, not needing the extra graphics or the higher video quality, and not needing the larger battery, I decided I'm just gonna do the X3 again, and I'll get a second X3. Woo, it's really blowing right now. Let's get in here with these houses. It's a little less windy when you get some blockage. Maybe I'll head back out front where all the buildings are. Yeah, it's still windy. I got a wind tunnel coming through here. I'm sure it's pretty clean sounding though on my mic, so that's awesome. But, all right. Ooh, I'm going with the wind, so now it's all quiet and calm. So that's what happened to day 196. Now, just a couple days ago on 204, I had the new X3. I put the new SD card in the X3, and I went out and did some really cool jumps at McKay Park, which actually I think the bike park is called the Divide, because it says the Divide Run, the Divide Pump Track, the Divide, you know. Whoa, wind is really kicking. It almost threw me off. So I was at the Divide and I learned something. I learned pop. I know it sounds, you're like, pop, what the fuck is pop? So normally I hit the jump and I pull my knees up. And when I do that, I get this nice glide. Then there's the other one where I do the chicken head, and that's where it comes up and my head goes down and then I land like that. And those are both pretty smooth feeling. I like those. But I was trying to hit some speed. I wanted to clear the 11 feet and come down the down ramp and, you know, hit the bigger jumps because I want to move over to the next divide line. And so when I was leaning into it, I leaned into it all the way up the ramp and kept my knees locked pretty much, you know, like at an, you know, bent angle, of course. And it threw me up in the air. And I was hitting it too fast. I was hitting it at a speed for a lift up or a chicken head, is what I call it. But instead, with me holding my knees locked in on it, it threw me up in the air. It just like popped me up in the air and went flying. And then I brought my knees up to keep the wheel from spinning. And I looked down and I realized there's the 11-foot span. And I'm still in the air. And I was like, holy crap. And then I was about to land at the very bottom of the downside, the landing. And I was gonna hit flat ground. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to crash. This is it, I'm wiping out. And because I thought that, when I hit the ground, I literally did the jerk thing. We're like, oh my God. And yeah, I crashed. And my wrist still hurts. So I didn't have my wrist guard on, and because I always fall on my elbows, and so I was like, well, I just got sick of putting it on when I never use it. Of course, the one time you don't put it on is when you need it. So I hit the ground and totally hurt my wrist really bad. Crashed big time, and I got it on footage, and I did some really cool cameras things and did this talking about what happened to my X4 and how I got a new helmet. Yeah, I got a new helmet because, you know, my face hit the ground, and luckily it just felt like somebody slapped me. So it didn't, you know, like take a chunk out of my face or break my jaw or anything, or crack a tooth or something, but it still hurt. And I thought, well, I better get a face guard and chin guard because I'm doing bigger jumps now and all that stuff. And all that other stuff. But anyways, what happened to day 204 was when I got back to the truck and I went to go post it, it said damaged files. And I went through each video, and I had like 6 different videos for all these different shots I did. And damaged footage, blah, blah, blah. It said reformat, it says delete files, reformat SD card. I was like, oh no. I got the new camera, made sure it was charged, put the SD card in, and never formatted it. And I've heard of that kind of thing happening, and it's actually happened to me once before, and I didn't think about it, and all that damn footage was there. I've tried getting some of it, but it kept on glitching, locking up, kicking me out. The app kept shutting down. And finally, I just got so upset, I just delete, reformatted. I reformatted it 3 times, did a test run in my truck with the video, you know, running and stuff, and did some stuff to see, made sure it worked. It did then, but you know, sometimes when you're moving, it doesn't. So I'm doing a moving test run. Also telling you guys what's been going on, why you haven't seen any videos for a whole month, what happened to my last 3 videos I shot, and I've done some other runs besides that. You know, just riding around having fun. But I didn't have a camera, and it was just for me. It wasn't anything worth shooting. It was just having fun, riding around. So that's what's been up, guys. Anyways, I'm now here waiting for my truck to get fixed, and thought I would just go cruise around town, shoot this video, then I could edit it and see how it works, see how everything's going on. and make sure we're good, because I'm heading over to McKay next. That's my next footage I'm shooting. I want to make sure it's all good, because I want to practice the pop, and I want to learn how to pop that off and land it, because that, I think, is going to be the key to getting bigger and bigger jumps, is that pop. Not just the pop, but also my form. I've been watching my videos a lot, and I noticed when I come up one arm before the other or something, it throws me off, and I almost crash or I go off. And it's always the same way because of my arms going that way. So it's throwing me off in the air, putting me off balance. Second one is when I pop and I don't pull my knees up and do the curl in, it doesn't lift up the unicycle, putting it straight. And so it throws me off. So I need to come up with both hands at the same time, both legs at the same time to keep the wheel from spinning, then push my legs back down at the same time and my hands back down at the same time to land it. Now I'm thinking with that and the pop, I should be able to get some bigger and bigger jumps. I mean, I did a 13-foot jump. Technically, I did not land it because I freaked out and overwhelmed myself. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't know that was gonna happen, and it did, and it freaked me out, and I was like, boom, crash. Whoop. So that's it for me, guys. Hopefully this all films up right and everything good, and we can get some good footage at the Divide, which actually I talked to the managers, by the way. They were there when I was jumping, and they were totally cool with me riding there as long as I do the patching and keep it nice and respect the park. So I thought that was awesome. Can't wait to talk to Boise ones, because I think that guy was just some dude who's just talking crap because he's just prejudiced. Now, it sounds stupid, but yeah, there's racist people in sports. A biker doesn't like a skateboarder. A skateboarder doesn't like a scooter guy, a rollerblader. And bikers and skaters seem to have an issue with unicyclers. So, not all of them. A lot of them don't care. They think whatever, you know, a toy is a toy. But there's certain ones that are all like, my sport's the best sport and your sport sucks. And then you get the heck off of my park and get the hell out of here. This is my territory. So, you got prejudiced people doing one sport. They think their sport's better than everybody else's. And everybody else should stay away from them and off their park and out of their territory. I think that guy was just one of those kind of guys. Anyways, y'all, I'll talk to you later. See you in a bit over at McKay Park when we're riding the Divide.